Hello everyone. So today uh, we are going to discuss about HRM. So in this video we are going to talk about Unit 1 of HRM. So before starting today's unit, I want you to take a second and think about why it is necessary to read about or learn as a subject called HRM. So I understand that you are opening this video in the time of, I would say, your exam is on the line and things like that. But I want you to take a minute and think about why in such a like MBA syllabus there is a subject called HRM. There has to be its importance, right? So any business, let's not particularly say it for India or any other country, for anywhere, any all the business are running on one single thing. Can you guess what? It is human power. No, machinery is not the correct answer for this. The only answer for this is human power. So we should not forget that thing. And to manage that human power, it is very necessary to learn about all the stuff related to it. Because if any organization wanted to progress or wanted good growth or something in near future, so they need to work on this human power. So there has to be a particular department which is focusing on this only. So let's discuss this. As you can see that I am in much more chill way because this topic is very relatable and I would say easy to understand, not very complicated, but only when if you are going to connect with this topic. Because I can start it by definition, like this is the definition, this is its type, this is our function, this is process, but I don't want to go with that flow. I will eventually, but I want you first to have that thing in your mind why this is necessary. So now I think that I already make that thing very clear. Now, a I would say, let's read this. While learning human resource management matters. That's where, guys, just give me a minute. Actually, I'm not very sure, but it's raining out there. So there might be a sound that is disturbing. Just give me a minute. Sorry for that. I hope it's better now. So we are while learning human resource management matters. That's where HRM comes in. It's not just about hiring and firing. It's about understanding how to attract, retain, and develop top talent. Building a culture that keeps employing employees motivated and productive. Managing people strategically so that business goals and employee goals align. So even if you go into marketing, finance, entrepreneurship, understanding human resource management makes you a better leader and decision maker. Earlier, people were treated as cost or labor. Today, they are seen as an asset, intellectual capital that drives innovation, creativity, and customer satisfaction. In simpler words, machines and money depreciate, but people can appreciate, grow in value if managed well. I hope now you are very much clear. There is no doubt why it is necessary to read about this chapter. You know its importance now. Now let's start with our first topic, which says relevance and spectrum, concept and evolution of HRM. So as you know that every business runs on power, people power, not just machinery or money. HRM ensures that the right people are recruited, trained, motivated, and making the organization efficient, innovative, and competitive. Now, the concept here is human resource management means managing an organization's human capital effectively to achieve its goal and employee satisfaction. You can simply, this is the definition. If you want to write down the definition, this is the definition. Human resource management means managing an organization human capital effectively to achieve its goals and employee satisfaction. Okay, now when it comes to the functions, there are, I would say, 5 to 6 functions. First of is procurement. As you can, the word is itself meaning that recruiting and selecting right employees. The very first step, I would say. Then development. Now the employee has been recruited or been hired, the organization. Now it is our responsibility. Our matlab, it is the HR responsibility to develop that employee. Then how will he or she do it? By training and skill building courses. The second after procurement is development. Then third is compensation. Compensation is like we do HR will do that things which motivates them, like which motivates the employees, like salary, bonuses, incentives, stuff like that. Now after the third process, the fourth is integration, creating motivation and engagement. This is, I would say, is a thing that HR should make sure, or I would say ensure that the employee coming in the organization on daily basis working effectively. Like every way, the employee should be motivated and highly involved in the activities that he or she is performing. I would say that is integration. The fifth function is maintenance, that says ensuring safety, health, and welfare. Everyone needs health support, everyone needs safety, it's around environment. So there's, if the organization is providing you stuff like protein bars, I would say breakfast, one time breakfast, or let's say lunch, or stuff like that, then or maybe like health insurance premium or something. So that is the way an organization is protecting or safeguarding its employees. So it's a very nice way to put that thing. I would say safety we can't ignore. So that is what we call under maintenance. Then the last part is separation. Every employee who is in the organization right now, there will be a time when that employee should switch, or I would say retired, or maybe fired. So that process should be very smooth, and to make that process smooth, HR should be managing this thing with a structural format. So that process comes under separation. Now, these are the six process. I would say basic. You can relate it to time when the employee comes in through procurement. Then the employee should develop its skills, like in development. Then after that, I would say motivating by giving them policy, so not policies, uh, salaries, incentives, bonus, things like that. After motivating, there should be an sorry, it's not motivating, it's compensation. Okay. After the third process, there should be integration. Integration means like creating a motivating stuff like that. After fourth process, maintenance like health, security, and stuff like that. At the end, separation. So you can basically, these are the six process, and it's not that difficult. Now the next we discuss about the evolution of HRM. See, industries, companies are out there in the market for very long, but the role of HRM is switched, I would say, drastically year after year. So there are a time period, I would say time scale, on which we are going to study that between 19th century to 1930, how the HRM is being taken by the organization from 1940 to 70. This is how we are going to do it. So first is industrial welfare. So because in that time, the focus should be on discipline, wages, and labor welfare. People are like focusing on the output rather than anything else. From 1940 to 1970, the revolution been called as human relations because now they are focusing on employees, making sure that the employees are motivating and yeah, fundamentally very strong principles, stuff like that. From 1980 to 2000, it's personal management. Now HR systems, proper structural format has come into play. They make sure that there are a structural follow like selection, training, and appraisal, things like that. Now I would say in 2000 there is a different HRM shift, which was taken place, I would say, which is currently now over time, because now HR duty has been quite different from the earlier. Now HR is responsible for managing people who are working remote, like who are sitting and doing work from home. So how will an HR review that person, that his productivity, his management, how will he take care of that person, stuff like that. How, what, depending on, there are people who are doing hybrid, like sometimes on few days, a few months, a few days are work from home, then they shifted to on offline. So how to manage that kind of people? What are things that should be in check while recruiting? Like the person should be well aware about AI stuff that is going on in the market. And what are your views on AI? What are the practices that you wanted to go with, like remote, hybrid, or daily on job? So there are stuff changes, and there are many. I would say AI agency as well. Like AI will take care of all the other HR jobs. So how to deal with certain AI agents by HR only? This is the question for HR. So HR should also know how to control that AI agents effectively. So this is what the evolution of HRM. Now, this is the practical example. When Infosys began scaling globally, it adopted strategic HRM, focusing on training, performance evaluation, and multicultural hiring to manage large international firms. Basically, as I mentioned now, when your organization was small, then it's fine if you don't hire this department. But when it's become huge, now it is very important to have this department because the whole organization is depending upon human power. So to manage that human power, it is highly recommended that you should have that particular specialist people who learned and do it effectively. So moving to the topic two, which is organization of HR department. Now in this we are going to understand the structure of department in HRM. Just a minute, guys. Yeah. So in topic two, an HR department act as a nerve center of all people related activities, from hiring to performance to retention. Its organization ensures every HR function runs smoothly, aligned with business goals. Core concept: the HR department is structured to manage key functions like manpower, planning, recruitment, compensation, training, and welfare. So basically, now we are going to understand this structure, like who sits at the top, then things like that. So the first is CHRO. It's the Chief Human Resource Officer. Okay, he is on the top, taking all the headshot decisions regarding this department. Then there are certain managers, I would say, under CHRO. We call them as an HR managers. Then under HR managers, there are certain subtypes which are being called as an HR executives. Then under executives, there are people we called it as an assistant. So it is very simple because the head, CHRO, chief human resource officer, then human resource manager, then human resource executive, then assistant. So it is not that difficult. Again, there are different cells, specialized cells like uh, So again, this is also, you can relate this four by these functions that we discussed initially, that training, procurement, recruitment, training, salary, motivation, ensuring health. So recruitment and selection cell, this cell is only ensuring that the person should be recruited. The procurement stage. Well, let me write here procurement stage. Procurement stage. Okay. Then training and development stage. So we called it as a development stage. Okay. Okay. Now compensation and benefit cell. We called it as a compensation. As you know, you can see, you can know these things. You should not, because you just read it here. You know all of these things. You should have to just basically, it's a name of a particular cell. There are people out there in this cell. Think it like there is a lot of functions. Now the function is being divided in terms of their similarities. The last one is employee welfare and relation cell. It's like integration. It's not integration, it's maintenance. Correct, maintenance. By the way, for your knowledge, I am not, I am also a student of MBA right now. So I thought, actually, I am also doing some, I'm doing a particular job at this point, and I was the last week, I would say, there was a paper of my semester one, internal second, and I am just going with this, going through the syllabus now. At that point, I made notes for myself. So this is the notes that I made, and I figured that why not to share it with you guys as well. So that is one of the prime reason. At this point, my focus is not to get the views or stuff like that. My focus is to just whatever I am having, just share it with you. I know that not figuring about views, but at least let's say 10, 20 people will see this video and think it's with worth, then it's fine for me, to be very honest, because I know that at the last moment when you want some help from a right person, how much that matters. So in that perspective, I have that perspective in mind. That is one of the foremost reason why I'm making these videos. So moving to the topic number three, the functions, role, and HR policies, emerging dimensions in HR. The HR manager's role has transformed from being a paperwork handler to its strategic partner who drives business success through people. Core concept. The role of HRM includes both managerial and operative function that ensure human resources are used effectively and ethically. Now you can understand that HR have two basic functions. Okay, functional and operative. In functional, there are process like four process: planning, organizing, directing, and controlling. In planning, their work is to find out how many people are been required. Forecasting that, let's say November month, there has been a requirement of 25 people in finance, 15 people in marketing, and let's say 50 people in uh, sales. So that is the forecasting that they do in planning. There is an organizing, they make sure that the assigning roles and responsibilities to the right person. Then after organizing, they make sure that in directing, they guide, motivate, and leading employees. And in controlling, they evaluate their process. Like there are stuff like performance appraisal, customer reviews. These are the factors, or I would say tools, through which they understand about or analyze any employee's performance. So these are their four functions in managerial uh, head. In terms of operative functions, there are again six functions. We already discussed it, if you remember. So I'm not going to repeat it once again, but I just want you guys to see Unit 1 is finished. This is not that important. Emerging dimensions in HR department. Modern HR has evolved to adopt digitally global and ethical changes. HR diversity using data. See, this is not that important. I actually covered the things which I feel that are much more important and relevant that you have to read and understand right now. So yeah, that is it from my side. We are going to start with the unit 2 after a 10-minute break with the next video, obviously. You can check out my playlist if you want to see other videos, other subjects. I also covered PPM, managerial economics, and yeah, all the, I would say, subjects of MBA mostly. Thank you. That is it for today in this video. Okay, bye.